Hello, everyone. Geoffrey Nance here. Welcome to another edition of Tip Tuesday. Our tip today actually goes back quite a ways. In fact, it is a word that is used well over hundreds of times in the Bible. It is a word that we ought to be familiar with. We're going to spend about a third of our life, many of us, doing it. That word is rest. Rest. It is kind of a weird thought to think that we spend such a big portion of our lives asleep. But we do. We do. 24 hours a day. If you sleep about 8 hours, you're sleeping about a third of your life, which sounds kind of crazy. Now you're thinking, wow, I need to I need to I need to spend more time awake. No, no, no. Your body is designed by God to need rest, and so even Jesus himself, he takes a rest. So he creates everything, and he's like, all right, so now I'm gonna rest. And he talks about that there's a Sabbath day of rest. In fact, rest is so important that in Leviticus 25, you actually see that God even designs a plan where the land itself would have a rest. So they wouldn't even farm it. They would give it a year off. They would give the land itself rest. So guys, listen, if the land itself requires rest, or God had a provision for the land itself to rest, then we certainly need rest. And that applies to, areas of our life, even things that we enjoy doing. We need to take a rest. And one of those areas, of course, which is directly applicable to us, is trading. Is it okay to take a break from trading? The answer is yeah, a resounding yes. Absolutely, it is. It is. It is. Not only is it good, I would say it's advisable to take a rest every now and then from trading. Now, um, do you want to trade? Yes. Should you trade? Sure, absolutely. Like, we want you to trade. Sure, we do. But we want you to take a rest. So it doesn't need to consume you. Nothing needs to take that place. And I think it's actually good and healthy that there are going to be times in your life, in your trading journey, where you're going to go through stages. And one of those stages is, it's just simply just imagine, if you will, that you've got a mountain on one side, and then you've got a valley, and then you've got a mountain on the other side. And if you're planning on trekking across those things, and you just have to understand, well, guess what? I'm gonna be hanging out here on the mountaintop, and I might just want to stay there. I might just want to stay on the mountaintop. But if I just stay there, I'll be missing out on whatever lies on that next peak. The ability to see what's past that, what's on the other side. Well, in order to get there, then I have to come down the mountain, and then I've got to go through the valley, and then I've got to go up the next mountain till I get to the top of that one. And you know what? When we get there, we're supposed to rest. We're supposed to enjoy that. And we should enjoy that. And there are times when we should take that opportunity just to be thankful. I particularly enjoy the holiday season, November, December, because of what we're able to do. There are things, where our family is real busy. I have 4 kids, and they're involved in all kinds of activities. We wanted them to do that. And that's good. That's a good thing. That we want them to take a rest, and I think that's good. And it allows us to spend time together. There are things that you can do during a time of rest that are more difficult in a time of intense activity. So, I mean, imagine if you're a somebody who's lifting weights, a weightlifter, whether you're doing it for professionally or just doing it to be healthy. You take breaks in between your sets. You take breaks in between the different activities that you're doing. So if you're going from one thing to the next, you're going to take a break in between that. And again, that's good. Your body needs a little time to recover so that you can go push it and make it, work hard again. Your brain needs time of rest too. If you're like me, sometimes, like, I go through stages where my brain just feels like it's just constantly like running, because I'm thinking of ideas, I'm thinking about stuff that's going on, I'm thinking about things that I need to do. And so finally, I learned several years ago, I just need to shut it down at night. And so I will do like just tasks that require nothing, like so watching TV, playing some games, just totally just shutting it down, and spending time in the Word. and spending time just praying, just, sitting there listening, being silent at the end of the day. And it's super important that we rest. And as somebody who's been, trading for a long time, I truly think that there are times when you need and should take rest. Obviously, it's a little bit like if you're an athlete and you're, let's say you're playing basketball and you just feel like the rim is, like a swimming pool. It's so big, like everything you're throwing up is going in, and you could just shoot it from half court and it would go in. You just feel that good. And there are gonna be times like that where you're trading, where you're just like, man, every trade I'm getting into is just working so well. I don't want to stop right now. And that's probably not the best time to stop. Go ahead, take your shots. Go ahead and get the most out of it. But there are also going to be times, guys, when you're simply just going to go through a stage. I think it's kind of like what I call a valley stage, where you look at the market, you've got the insight, you're reading, the articles, you're listening to, whatever's out there, maybe you're getting your market alerts or your Top Gun Elite market today stuff, and you're still looking at it just going, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Something is not clicking for me right now. Or you just simply say, man, I'm going to be on vacation. When I'm on vacation, a lot of times I miss really good trading opportunities, but that's okay, because I want to get away. I think it's healthy so that when I come back, I'm rejuvenated, I'm energized, I'm ready to hit it hard again. But there are also times when I just kind of like, you know what? I'm having a hard time figuring out what this market is doing. And there's some things that don't make a lot of sense. It's not really doing what I would expect it to do. You know what? Now is a really good time for me to take a break. There's no need for me to keep getting in trades if the expenses are kind of piling up. I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm going to take a break. These trades would be great, but for whatever reason, they're not right now. The market's a little weird for me. I'm going to take a break. And sometimes I think some people feel guilty about that, but I'm going to tell you today, don't don't feel guilty about taking breaks. Now, don't take so long a break that when you come back, you're like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to relearn everything. I don't know how to do a debit spread anymore. I've forgotten how to do the math on running the options here. That's probably too long, right? So, just like when you're lifting weights, you don't want to go do a set of bench press and then come back, 30 minutes later after some coffee and hanging out with people and be like, all right, I guess it's time for rep number 2. Like that's a little too long of a break. Okay. This is the same reason that we don't just sleep for 16 or 18 hours a day. All right. That, it's, 5 to 8 hours a day, 7 to 8 is really, they say, kind of the best. Get in that range, right? That's healthy. So there are breaks that are good, they're healthy, but we don't need to take so long a break that we actually get out of practice. So a good break, where we use that for refreshing, is not only good, I think it's necessary. Jeff made a comment here. He said, I'm taking a break, just trying to, build up my savings again. And I think that is also a reality for some people, that sometimes, things have been pretty rough. You go through a rough stretch and you just need to take a break to kind of rebuild. And that can be good too, as long as you kind of look at that and say, all right, so what am I going to learn from the past? What am I going to do differently? Because what you don't want to do is step away, then come back and be like, all right, let's do the same things I did last time. Because if you're digging a hole, you don't need to go out there into your backyard and be like, all right, I'm supposed to be filling this in, but I think I'm going to go dig it deeper. So we definitely want to avoid that, right? So if you feel like you're taking a break that's been necessitated by, previous experiences, then I think you have to be, honest here up front too, to say, all right, what am I physically going to do differently than I did last time? So I didn't like the results that I got in that last little segment that I went through, and it could have been a few weeks, could have been a few months. I didn't really like what I was seeing there. So what am I going to do differently to get these results? And then sometimes we just kind of go through stages, and I know you guys have probably been there where you feel this way. You're like, man, it's like that ball starts rolling, right? And it's just like, all right, one thing happened. Okay, that kind of stinks. Oh, another thing happened. Oh, really don't like that. Oh, there's a third, a fourth, a fifth. All of a sudden you look up and it can be just little things, $50 here, $100 there, 200, 300, 400. You're like, what in the world? and all your appliances, they start trying to break down all at the same time. And then you got this thing that pops up, and oh, great, this kid got hurt over here. Now we got this medical thing, and now you just kind of feel inundated. Let me say this too. I haven't met any of our students that have been going through a time where they were struggling in their personal life, where they made really good trading decisions and had really positive results in their trading accounts when they were going through a difficult personal time. So if that's you and you find yourself, you know what, just things are just rough right now, and this just patch of life, just for me, like in this segment of life that I'm going through right now is rough. I'm just gonna tell you straight up and be as clear and honest as I can with you right now. I haven't met anybody that's made a lot of good trading decisions during a time like that, where they've been dealing with family issues, they've been dealing with money stuff, they've been dealing with whatever. Just, I think that is a great time to just be like, all right, it is time for a rest. Because maybe there's somebody out there and I just haven't met them. But I think those things distract you and they take away your attention. And it's not like that we want to be like fully committed to trading and it needs to take up all this time. But I think we need to be really sound in our thinking, our understanding, and our actions. And I think when we're distracted, that things can happen to us that wouldn't happen if we weren't distracted. All right. So you're at a baseball game and you're paying attention and a ball comes your way. Well, I mean, catch it or block it or at least move out of the way. But if you're distracted, you're talking to somebody else and all of a sudden the ball comes in and conks you in the head. Well, you say, Geoffrey, how'd that happen? Well, you were distracted. Okay. You were distracted. And when we're distracted, we sometimes miss things that we would normally see and be able to respond to in a different way. And I don't want you guys to be in that position. So if you feel like I'm personally distracted somewhere in the next year, so this could apply to you guys over the next week or two. Some people might look at the next week or two and be like, hey, I know that in general, Geoffrey, you talked about this, last week, that trading is kind of, just kind of, just not a lot of movement in general the last couple of weeks of December. And I'm okay with that, but I'm going to take advantage of some of those things. Great. Some of you guys are like, yeah, you know what, Geoffrey, I'm going to close it up for the year. I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back 2022 ready to roll. Great. All right. So I don't know where you are. I don't know what stage you're in and what the best option is for you, but I do want you to know this, guys, that it's always okay to take a rest when a rest is the best thing for you. If you're sick, you don't need to be up running around, working out, doing a bunch of stuff. What do you need to be doing? You need to be resting. Why? Because that's what your body needs. If you're looking at your trading and you're saying, man, I really don't like the results that I'm seeing, maybe it's time to take a step back, take a little rest, maybe get a little assistance from a coach or something like that, reassess where you are, take a little break, and then come back with a different mindset. Look, God created us for rest. We need to rest. But when we rest, the idea is that we come back, we're rejuvenated, and we're ready to go. So however you guys take the next couple of weeks, I want you to come back rested. I want you to be resting during seasons where that's the best thing that you could be doing, because I want you to be able to move forward and go as hard as you can. Okay. I mean, I want you to be able to have the energy that you need. I want you to be able to have the focus that you need, because I want you to get the results that you desire. And one of the things that we're going to need to do that is to make sure that we're rested. So the appropriate amount of rest, whether that's just a season of time or whether that's just, really allowing ourselves to decompress, come in, look at each individual trade for what it is. Most of us link one trade with the next trade, even though that last trade had zero to do with this trade. We tend to link those, good or bad. Well, all right. So sometimes we just need to step away, take a deep breath, reassess things, take that rest, spend some time in the Word with the Father, and coming back refocused, recharged, and ready to roll. So, guys, take your rest, enjoy your rest. Know that God has created rest for us. And as you go through seasons where rest is the best thing that you can do, acknowledge that for what it is. And then when you're going through one of those seasons and you're just bearing fruit, and keep it going. Keep it going until you start to see, all right, things are turning here. I've been working really hard. I need to pull back a little bit. Recognize that for what it is. And if you think, you know what, I'm not very good at understanding those seasons in life, see if you can get somebody else to say, hey, you know what, maybe it's time for you to do something. Because sometimes other people can see what's best for us when we don't see it ourselves. All right, guys, that's our tip for today. Jeff, thanks for being on with us. I saw several comments here from you. Appreciate you, buddy. Hopefully things work out real well for you. You get all those things lined up like you need to, and you're ready to come back in 2022, ready to roll. Those of you guys that are on with us or listening to this later, enjoy your seasons of rest. Enjoy this time with your family. And enjoy the reason for the season. The more I think about Jesus and what he did, it's really amazing that the King of glory, the creator of heaven and earth, stepped out of the most amazing place that anybody could ever imagine, and he came to be born in a feeding trough. Why did he do that? Because he was Emmanuel, God with us, and he desired to have a relationship with us to show us how to live. And Jesus rested, guys. Jesus had incredible times where he was out ministering and healing people all over the place. And yet, even during those times, being God, okay, fully God, fully man, he's like, you know what? I need some rest, guys. And we just see it over and over again. Jesus, there are times when they want him to do more, and he's like, I need a rest. So we need to follow his example. And it's not just about the spiritual stuff. Like, he literally rested. We need to rest. And rest is an important part of our life. So it needs to be an important part of your life too. And we want you to take advantage of that. Appreciate you guys. We will see you next time.